Good morning from the Cairngorms. An absolutely lovely morning. You'll see in the background it's very snowy. So this is a bit of a different walk for me. I had planned quite a long walk from Aviemore to Blair Athol through the Cairngorms, but they've had a lot of snow. So apparently it's very deep. So I wouldn't have been able to do that in the time I've got available. So I've changed my plans. I'm heading up towards Moor via the Emerald Loch and Riven Bothy, and hoping to get up to Loch Ann and maybe Loch Etchechen, maybe tomorrow, maybe not today. So we'll see how it goes, but a bit of a different one because I've got flexibility in the plans. I can change them as I go, which is kind of what you need in these conditions when it's a bit unpredictable. I do have the snowshoes with me, maybe see them on my pack, but even at that, the snow can really slow you down. So, but nonetheless, really enjoying being out. You can see it's just beautiful, covered in snow. That's where I'm going. Beautiful, the Emerald Loch. I'll pan round and show you that in a minute. But it's just lovely, it's so quiet. I've been here many times, but usually it's busy with people and usually there's a lot of midges. So it's really nice today. And I've just noticed, I've never seen it before, but you can actually see the top of Riven Bothy just there, which I'd never noticed. So I'm just walking along. There's a path, good double track. It's quite slow going, but I'm walking along, heading out towards Riven, and then I'll turn to the east and head into the hills. Starting to leave the Abernethy forest behind. It's been beautiful walking through it. You can see some lovely colours over there on the horizon, and heading up into up here, Moor. Last time I was here it was blue sky, so quite different, but absolutely lovely being out. Decision time for me. Stopped to put on the snowshoes and the gloves. If I go up that way, then it's quite high, and it would mean camping quite high, and really the bit where I would camp is 5 or 6 kilometres away. I've only got about an hour of daylight, and I'm going about 3 kilometres an hour, so that doesn't really seem to work. If I go that way, then it's a steep-sided valley and the avalanche risk today is considerable. So I don't really want to camp at the bottom of a valley where there's a risk of avalanche. So I think I might need to camp early. I think I might need to camp just up here. I don't know that there's too much choice. So I think I was saying to you back there that I needed to make a decision where to camp, and I met 3 chaps coming off Knockmore and they said the snow was really deep. They hadn't managed to get to the summit. I'd already decided though, to be honest, not to go up that way tonight. I've only got just over half an hour now till sunset, so not much light left, so I'm going to carry on a little bit further up. The river's the Abernethy, and that leads to Loch Ann. So I'm going to carry on up there, not too far, because as I said, it's got very steep sides and I don't want to be at risk of camping below an avalanche, although it's probably very unlikely, but still you should be careful. So I'm just going to camp kind of at the head of the glen, or at the foot of the glen really, and find a spot. I've got the snowshoes on. The snow's much deeper here and there's no trail, so it's slow going. And so although I had a bit of time, it's rapidly getting eaten up by slow progress, which is fine. I've got tomorrow and the day after anyway. So, press on. It is basically sunset in 10 minutes. Made very little progress in the last hour, but I'm going to choose somewhere here, pitch the tent. Some nice views that way, they might not come out. Yeah, I'll find a flat bit and get pitched up. All set up for the night. It's gone dark, you'll see, but there's the scarp set up. I've got the cross poles on tonight. I still to go around and tighten it up, so I'll do that in a minute. But yeah, all set up, and you won't be able to see anything, but it's just starting to snow. Time for a cup of tea. I've been in the tent about 2 hours maybe, since about 4:30. put the tent up about 3:45 and then went and got water. It's only a short distance, probably a few hundred metres, but the snow's so deep that it took about 45 minutes just to get down to the river and back. But that's me collected water for the night. Got 2 litres, which is fine, and I've learned that the hard way. You're best to go and get it as soon as you pitch the tent, rather than thinking you'll get it later, because you never want to get out again. So yeah, just been relaxing and made a cup of tea. Definitely due a nice warm cuppa now, although I think it's, you can see I've got, I'll show you later, but I've got a wool top, I've got a fleece, and then I've got 2 down jackets. Yeah, there's one, and then the other one, and I've got the hoods up. So it's reasonably cold. It's about 1 degree in here, I think, judging by the thermometer. So it's reasonably cold, but it's not too bad. Let me try and show you the setup tonight. So I'm doing something a bit different. I've actually not brought my winter sleeping bag. I brought my summer quilt here, which is an enlightened equipment quilt, and then I've actually brought my kind of 3 seasons spring and autumn sleeping bag. So a quilt over a sleeping bag. I've been reading and listening to some podcasts about this setup, so I thought I'd give it a shot. Not something I've done before, so we'll see how that goes. And then I've got a can you see that? Yeah, I've got a closed cell foam mat, much thicker than I normally use, and it's got that reflective layer as well, obviously because it's winter. And then I've got a small X-Lite, the kind of 3/4 length one that I use in summer, and then the full length X-Lite underneath, so 3 pads, and I've got my X-Bed pillow. Yeah, the 2 X-Lites, I mean that's a combined R value of 8 between those, 10 between all of those pads. 4.2, 4.2 and 2 for the closed cell mat. So that's quite high, and it's more than my winter mat, although my winter air mat, I am wishing I'd brought my winter air mat though, because it's quite a bit wider and comfier, and I didn't because it's also heavier. So it's not anything tragic, but yeah, doing that setup there with the two mats, and then the closed cell mat. You should always put your closed cell mat on top of your air mat, I believe, and that's to stop convection stealing away your heat. So that's the sleep setup. Hopefully it'll be warm enough. I'm sure it will. We'll see. Checking all the guidelines. Everything seems in order. It always comes loose a wee bit as it gets damp and so on. So yep, all looks in order, and I'm about to make a cup of tea and go to sleep. It's just after 9. Good morning. Not a bad night. It was a wee bit noisy, so I kind of got woken up a few times, or on and off, but it was warm. I had to strip off some layers because I was overheating, so not bad. It's just gone 7, so there's no sunrise for about another hour and a half, more than that, nearly 2 hours. I'm going to make coffee and it'll take me a while to get packed up today because I've got a lot of kit. Yeah, just kind of have a warm drink or two, and then decide where I'm going to go. It's calm just right now, but the wind's really been buffeting, very strong at points. Maybe hear it. And obviously the snow yesterday was really deep. So I was going to carry on up the Strathnethy to Loch Ann, but I'm not sure if I'm going to do that. I think it could be extremely slow going. Yeah, not sure. What I might do is cut across into the Abernethy forest. I was really enjoying being in the forest yesterday, down at the Emerald Loch, so I was thinking maybe I would go into the Abernethy forest and spend some time exploring it. So rather than going up the way into Loch Ann, I'll do that another time. Certainly not going to go up to Loch Shechan, so on. It's going to be too slow going today to do that. So we'll see. But thinking about a bit of a change of route given the ground conditions and the weather. Sounds pretty windy out there. So we'll see. But looking forward to the day, whatever I decide. Let's see what sort of day we've got outside today. So it's a lovely morning. It's quite windy, and it sounded very windy in the tent, but it's actually, there's some blue sky and it's actually a lovely day. I've probably just showed you the view just from coming out the tent. So yeah, it's surprisingly nice. It sounded like it would be worse. So I'm probably going to head up there initially. I'm not sure how far I'll get. You can see all the footprints from last night where I'd walked are all covered over already. You can see the moon up there. And back down the valley there. Lovely. Leaves no trace, kind of. Just pushed down snow. Taking a while to pack up. It's just after sunrise, just after 9, and I'm going to head up there, up towards Loch Ann, up by the Strathnethy. I've not got the microphone on today because there's a lot of spin drift, so I hope you can still hear me. I've only managed to do about a kilometre in the last hour, so there's no way I'm going to make it all the way up to Loch Ann today. I just won't have the time. It's the winter solstice tomorrow, so the shortest day, so there's very little light on days like today. So what I'm going to do is kind of head back the way I've come just for a little bit, and then break off and go into the Abernethy forest and spend some time exploring that. I really enjoyed it yesterday, so I'm going to do that instead. If I go up to Loch Ann, then I need to work my way back as well at some point, and I can't camp in this valley because it's a wee bit steep and a bit risky. So I think this is the best plan. It's lovely being out. I'm just going to take a short break, have something to eat, and then I'm going to begin heading into the forest. So I'm working away across this open ground. There's no path or anything like that at this stage, although I'm hoping to pick up a path further down there in the forest. So it's heavy going, but it's really, really pretty. That's Bainang Moor there, and then you can see the forest ahead. Glorious day, blue sky. Bit of cloud over there, that's Mialabuco. I was up that with my dad in the summer. It's covered in cloud. Ryven's just at the bottom of that. We're in line with it. But where I'm going, it looks sunny. The trees are laden with snow, you can see. It looks like it's all going to drop off. It's like icing or something. It's beautiful. Time to get the snowshoes off. I think I've been wearing them for 5 hours, so I'm ready to take them off. They're not the comfiest, they're a bit awkward to walk in. Anyway, you can see up here is Cairngorms, so that's where I've come from, way over there, and then I've worked round here over the open ground, and now I'm coming into the Abernethy forest. It's still a lovely day. You can see the clouds kind of on the hills. I wouldn't like to be up there. Cairngorms looks okay, but I wouldn't like to be up the rest of them. Cairngorms kind of that one there, round a wee bit, certainly looks like Cairngorm and Ben McDowie would have a lot of cloud on them. Anyway, get these. Oh, it'll be a relief to walk without them, although it means I have to carry them, which is the downside of taking them off. But it looks like there's a double track and it's had some sort of vehicle on it in the not too distant past, so I'm hoping it'll be, well, it can't be any more difficult than coming over there. So yeah, so get packed up, go for a wander in the forest. The trees are beautiful. So before it gets too dark, I wanted to show you where I've pitched. Had a bit of difficulty finding a pitch. The ground down there is really bumpy and the snow is incredibly deep. But this bit's okay. Just because of the shelter of the tree, the snow's not too deep here, and I stamped it down. So I've managed to get it pitched, and actually I've got it in with the pegs alone, although I'll probably put the cross poles in anyway just because I've got them. Maybe not, we'll see. But yeah, it's flat and I get a wee bit of a view. I think that'll be, I'll check later, but I'm sure that's, yeah, that'll be Miala Buccal that I showed you earlier. And then round there will be Cairngorms, I think, but I'll check later. But quite a nice spot, and I'm right in the heart of the forest, as you can see. Trees all around, but I quite like this bit because you've got a wee bit of open ground. So hopefully it'll be a good spot. I took the inner out earlier to stop it getting damp. So that's just the shell of the scarp, and I need to put the inner in and then get all my stuff in, so I'm going to crack on with that. The sun's set about half an hour ago, so it's going to be dark within half an hour probably, so I want to get a bit more set up, although I'm happy that I've got the tent pitched. It's certainly quite a nice spot, or a very nice spot actually, especially with that view. I'll show you the view in a minute. So there's the view from the tent. I think that's Miala Buccal, as I say, and yeah, nice open, looking onto the forest but not quite in the dark of the forest, so I think pretty perfect, but we'll see how it goes. So one thing that I do on my mid, and you can do it in the scarp as well, is, and I quite like doing it, is when you pitch the tent, pitch the outer and then get all your stuff in. And you can sort everything out if it's wet or got snow on it or anything like that. It just gives you a shelter from the wind, and then sort everything out, and then later on you can put up the inner. Not quite as easy to do in the scarp because it's a faff putting up the inner. It's got so many attachment points and pretty much it uses the whole of the tent, whereas on the mid it's half and half, so you can quite easily put up the inner without interfering with your bag and so on, whereas you kind of need to move some of the stuff back out on the scarp. But it still works, and as long as you've got a waterproof mat and an insulated mat, obviously today in the snow, then it works okay. So got everything in, which means you can relax a wee bit, but I'm going to carry on sorting stuff out because it's easier to do in the light, obviously, and as I said, the light will begin to go. Just in the tent, I was watching the last of the light from the sky, which was very nice. I showed you the tent setup, and you can see that I've now gone ahead and put the inner in, and after getting my mats onto the ground, because it's obviously very cold, and I've changed out my wet stuff. My trousers were a bit damp from the snow. Taking my boots off, obviously they're there. Got my quilt out to keep me warm, and then the next priority is to get the tea on. Left it too late yesterday getting the tea on, so I'm quite dehydrated after today because it was hard work. And that, and combined with the heat, then I want to get a cup of tea, and I think I'll have some peanuts. You can probably hear actually there's a helicopter passing overhead. I assume search and rescue, unfortunately, heading into the Cairngorms. Hopefully that person is okay. Another cup of tea just before I go to sleep. It's about 9:30. Had my dinner, did a little bit of reading, and stood outside and watched the stars for a long time. It's a really clear night, so it was lovely. It's also going to be a cold night because it's a clear night, so we'll see how warm it is in here. But yeah, just a cup of tea, a large cup of tea, and then off to sleep. Long time till it's light, so hopefully get a good sleep, and then I'll see you in the morning. Good morning. Good sleep. It's just after 7, it's about 7:15, so there's no daylight for quite a while yet, but I'm going to start getting ready. It takes a long time to get ready, and I need to make coffee, which is important. But yeah, good sleep. Slept for a long time, I think 9 hours. Only woke up twice, so slept very well last night. I'm going to start the coffee, and then begin to get packed up. Everything's frozen though. It was obviously cold last night. So I'll be defrosting ice this morning. reason I brought this one is, well, I usually bring the platypus, but this one has the opening up the top, so this bit's currently frozen and I can't get into it in spite of storing it upside down. So I can access it from the other end, and also can lift out some of the ice and put some of the ice in. So you can see you can lift it out with some difficulty. Actually, I can't lift it out. I can break it off at least. And break it up. Yeah, there we go. And get the ice in that way. And I can still access the water. Right. Sounds about ready. Yep. Oh, it doesn't take long with a gas stove, unlike the meths. I brought the gas stove in case I had to melt snow. Which I haven't had to do, but obviously there I was having to melt ice, and the gas stove is quicker, but also you can carry more fuel for the weight once you get to larger volumes of water at least. So I think that was good. Morning coffee, just what you need. It's starting to get light out there, so we'll go out soon and see what it is like. The wind's picked up a wee bit. It was a very still night, but the wind's picked up slightly, I think. Let's see what sort of day we've got today. Another lovely morning. Overcast this morning, but still really, really pretty. And so still and peaceful. There's the scarp this morning. Didn't bother clipping the fly onto the cross poles. Cold one last night, -8 on the thermometer overnight. Leave no trace as always, just the flattened snow. Now heading off back into the forest. So you can see where I pitched my tent last night, just at the top of the snow rise here, under those trees, just under the last tree at the end. Great wee spot, and you can see the good view out over the snowfield. Oh, right. Managed to keep my feet dry. There's no way around this river. The key is to move as quickly as you can and not stop. And the poles are very good. There we go. I started the day on a track that had no one on it for a while. The snow was undisturbed. That was lovely. It was about calf high, so not too deep. But you can maybe make out here, I'm now on a track that's got ski marks. So I actually saw a guy yesterday, the day before yesterday, on skis, and I think this is a track that's used for cross-country skiers. Probably going from Nethy Bridge to Aviemore or vice versa via the Riven Pass. So, yeah, the snow's padded down a bit, which makes the going a little bit easier. It's glorious walking through this forest, so hopefully you can see that from the camera. And round here. I'm going up there, but look at that. It's just glorious. What a morning. I think you can see Riven Bothy behind me. Been working my way over the open ground left the forest. Snow's deeper and the wind's got up, but still going well. There's some grey clouds there though, and I think it is the snow later on in the day, but I should be finished by then. So yeah, having fun. So good being out in this weather. I'm almost at the end of the walk, just past the Emerald Loch, and the paths actually get really busy today. Lots of people heading out to it. So a bit of a different video, no hills, or at least not the top of it, any hills. We've still got some views. Hope you enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. It was great being out, it was great being in the forest, great being out in the snow, and I did enjoy seeing the Cairngorms, even if I didn't get to the top of any of the mountains. So I'm going to carry on enjoying the forest walk. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you in the next one.